I've done over $2 million in sales running my two agencies, Vortex Consulting and Vital Management. And today I'm making this video to cover exactly how my personal agency framework works, the system behind it, and how we use paid ads and content funnels to generate consistent leads for our services and for the clients that we work with. I'm going to be going very in depth on exactly how we build agencies from scratch and how we work with existing agencies and offer owners to help grow them to over 100K a month. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with showing you guys a screen share from Pipedrive, the CRM that we use under both of my agencies. Now this number doesn't show, all of our total sales. Obviously we've done a lot of sales outside of that wasn't through the CRM, and we also were in business for a good 3.5 years before this. But just so you guys can see the actual number, we'll go ahead and do a refresh screen real quick. Here's $2 million in sales. And so now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what some of these agencies that we've started actually look like and what they sell. So we're going to go ahead and start off with my boy Justin. He runs a company called Genesis, and we helped him build that actually pretty recently. He builds VSLs for smaller coaching companies and info product companies, as well as run their paid ads for them for a retainer or for a rev share. Then we've got Telos, my boy Drake. He runs ads specifically for roofing owners and other contractors, as well as setting them up a call booking funnel and a CRM as well on GHL or Close.com to help them acquire clients easier through paid ads. And then we've got my boy James. He runs Nexora. This is an older agency we started. He runs ads for clothing brands as well as build, redesigns Shopify websites for clothing brands to help them convert more. And then of course, we've got my own agency VSL for this. And then we've got my own agency actual, website, my company Vital. We run a growth op or management company where we run the operations and the paid ads and content side of things for guys that have a big following on Snapchat or Instagram that sell some sort of service that costs $5,000 to $20,000. We take a rev share plus an upfront or a guaranteed payment, and we handle a lot of things for them. So I actually started my first agency back in 2020. I started off just like everybody else running paid ads for a small retainer and building websites. I quickly realized that after about a year or so of doing that, I could make a lot more money by targeting a specific niche, because with agencies, in my opinion, the money is in the specifics. You're not going to make a lot of money just doing the basic, hey, I'm going to run your Instagram, or I'm going to manage your content, whatever. It's the specifics where you just run ads for clothing brands or organize their drops, or you just get paid to set up webinars. But for me, I transitioned from just doing paid ads and building websites to building VSL funnels, something like this, where you have video with Typeform linked to a calendar, plus a CRM with some email and text automations, as well as running paid ads, but specifically for people that sold expensive services. And so that, because they pay a little bit better. And then I transitioned over the years to start running ads mainly for friends of mine. Shout out my boy Max and RU and a few other. I had probably about 10 to 12 others that before I actually started this company specifically and changed the offer. And I started running their operations for a percentage. I ended up really liking working with people that were selling a service from their audience, just like I run my own consulting offer. So I got really good at it myself. But that's a little bit about my agency and my offer. And throughout that process, I got really good at acquiring leads inbound. I've never had to do cold calling, never had to go do cold email. All the leads that I get exclusively come from my social media. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how I actually get leads, because I talk to agency owners every day that are stuck at this 5 to 10K a month range or below that, because one, they're not really selling a specific service. They're just selling some basic commoditized, hey, I can run your ads, hey, I can build your website kind of service. And then two, they're getting leads like really archaic ways from just doing cold calling or scraping for leads and mass emailing them. And it's just really ineffective. I think that part of your lead flow should definitely come from manual outreach. But in my opinion, the old way of running basically getting leads from just spamming cold DMs or just being spammy in general. You're basically selling to people that don't want to talk to you. Imagine that. And in my opinion, the better way to get leads is to get them mostly inbound. So I think that in 2026, the best way to get leads and the way that we work with people and what we kind of set up when we work on an agency is we set up a profile funnel. It could be on Instagram, it could be on Snapchat, it could be on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, or a combination of all of those. And what we do is we have, you basically have the profile funnel, and you have the paid ads, and then you still do outbound, but you do it in a smarter way. So the way the profile funnel works is you run your trial reels. Trial reels are essentially like ads in a way because they're going to people that don't know you, that don't follow you. So you're bringing in new traffic, and these people can put into a familiarity loop. And then you also post story sequences for people that are already following you and these new people that are finding your account to swipe up on. And story sequences are almost like basically ads. It's kind of like fish bait. People swipe up and text you off of that. You have your highlights. Part of the Instagram profile funnel or any profile funnel is your highlights or your pinned posts, because people are going to look at that first. So you want to have client results. You want to have explanation of your offer, some of your own personal results, you name it. You run a familiarity loop campaign, or as Jeremy Haynes talks about it, hammer them ads. So paid ads, the way you're trying to basically mimic what goes on with people following you, where they get nurtured over time with paid ads. So you run, a call funnel, which is just basically ads to get people to go to your VSL, your DMs, a instant form to then set them in DMs or get them to self-book through your VSL or your type form. And so you run that, so you get a consistent everyday way of getting leads. And then you can also run things like webinars where you sell to many, and you're able to basically shorten the sales cycle of someone massively because they're able to know, like, and trust you through these paid ads. And then you also run lead magnet ads and that kind of thing where you put out free things like, hey, I made this free document and put together this free video. And you kind of make it very specific to the kind of clients that you want. And, everybody likes free shit, but people are not going to go and directly contact you if it's not something that they're actually interested in. So you make it so that, in exchange for you giving them that thing, they have to book a call with you. And then with outbound, like I said, the way that I work with people, what I actually show people to do is targeted DM outreach, targeted story swipes, targeted story liking, commenting on people's Twitter posts, and DMing your new followers as they come in, whether that's from these trial reels or from your new follower campaigns. So what do I actually do with agencies? So when I work with I put together this diagram kind of explaining what we actually provide under our consulting company Vortex when it comes to building agencies from scratch or working with existing agencies that are just trying to go and grow. So normally what we have to do when we build a brand new agency is we have to come up with what they're actually going to offer, the deliverables, make a nice looking contract, figure out their pricing, that kind of thing. I think that's the first thing you always want to flesh out is, because there's a lot of people that run agencies that just have a bad offer, and a lot of their failures are really attributed to that. So we get that done first. Then, every single agency, it's not like running an e-com company. You have a lot of accounts that you have to set up. Normally you have payment processors, something to track your leads, something to book calls, your database. You have my own, we actually help people we actually end up setting up my own operating system with some of these guys. You have Sheets to track your clients and payments as well as marketing. You have Slack to go and communicate with team members and anybody else that works with you. Obviously ad accounts, you use Lovable or Claude Code or, Go High Level or ClickFunnels to make your VSL and webinar funnels and landing pages, that sort of thing. And then you hook all this up together with Zapier or Make so that everything is a nice little system. Then we have to go and work with them on the sales process. We help them figure out, how are we going to sell? We're going to do a one-call close. We're going to do a phone to Zoom. You get the point. We have to figure out what is the best way for them to sell these actual people and basically, to have how the sales process is going to work. Then we've got lead acquisition. So that is one of my biggest things, in my opinion. Like I talked about it a minute ago. I think a lot of guys acquire leads really in a really terrible, primitive way, and we help people set up all of this and all the stuff that we talked about earlier. Whether we help them go and get leads from targeted manual outreach, from running their pay. We help a lot of these guys run paid ads. We help them to set up everything as well, set up the new follower campaigns. start posting on their stories, get shout outs, everything. We try to help them get leads from multiple different sources. We set up these two funnels, their profile funnel and their paid ads funnel. And then we also help them with client fulfillment. So, normally when you set up one of these agencies, it takes maybe, normally when we're working with somebody, the way we do things is we'll work with them once or twice a week. And my specific spin on things, I want to go and talk about that for a second. I think a lot of these guys that you pay to help you build your agency, you're paying them to go and boss you around. You're paying them to basically teach you or talk to you. And I think that that's not really worth paying for, because you can just go to YouTube or Twitter or Reddit and you can get really good information. And if you want info, go there. But in my opinion, as far as what's actually worth paying for is labor, right? So we get paid to actually work with you directly, where we control your screen. We use Zoom to remote into your computer, and we do a combination of done for you, done with you. So I'll frequently, work with my clients maybe once or twice a week, control their screen myself. We're not outsourcing it. It's me personally. We'll go and work. We'll set up the accounts for them, configure them, make the contracts, set up the campaigns, help them go and film the content. We're doing all of this with them and for them. So we're working on it back and forth like a group project rather than just teaching them. And that's why we get paid pretty good to build these agencies. I'll go and share the last part of this. We don't just help set it up. That's another aspect of things. A lot of these guys, they help you set up the first few campaigns, all your accounts, whatever, but they don't actually do fuck all when it comes to troubleshooting, right? And so my strong suit is troubleshooting, because I run a management company. That's what I have to do all day long on these other offers, because I work with B2B and with info offers under that company. So we have to troubleshoot things like show rate. Okay, cool, we're getting leads. Are the leads actually qualified? We have to troubleshoot we have to add, any other companies or any other accounts that they need. We'll help them build automations on the fly. We'll help them kind of learn how they need to track their marketing and their bookkeeping and that sort of thing. We'll troubleshoot their appointment setting, how they're responding to people, their ads, all of that. Plus, we help them also with a little bit of the fulfillment when they take on the first few clients. So that way they actually know how to provide the service and it doesn't really blow up in their face. Because a lot of these guys that I'm working with that are starting agencies for the first time, they are not from an online background at all. These guys haven't touched a computer since high school, right? I work with guys in their 30s and 40s. And so this is all very foreign to them. My point is, when we build one of these agencies, it might seem scary because you're not skilled, or you don't have a specific service in mind. We help you come up with the service. You don't have to have some grand idea. And we also have you do whatever service you're going to provide for yourself or for others for very cheap or for percentage. So you don't have a bunch of liability, and you're going to learn how to do it, because I won't let you go and start selling it until I know that you have a baseline level of skill. Now, if you watch this entire video all the way through, and either A, you want to start your own agency from scratch so you can start selling services to business owners online for a couple $1,000s each, or B, you already have an agency, but you just feel lost. Maybe it's, maybe you're stuck selling services for $500 to $1,000 and you want to start charging $5 to $10 grand. Maybe it's the fact that you're not running ads at all or not posting, and you're just talking to leads that just don't want to talk to you at all because you don't have any inbound going. Or maybe you just don't know what accounts that you need to set up to properly organize your business so you can get past the ceiling that you're at right now. No matter what the situation is, I would love to talk to you. So I'm going to leave the link below for any of you guys to book a call directly with me so that we can speak and I can see if I can help you out myself and hopefully build this thing with you. Book a call below if you want to work with me.